Hey guys, Chris here from the School of Struggle. Today we have a special guest. His name is Luke Shirlaw. He was the creative director for a powerhouse of a company called Ironlak, the world's largest spray paint markers and art supply world for the graffiti and fine artists. It started in 2002, first rolling products out on shelves in 2004. It is the largest company in this space worldwide. Luke Shirlaw, the man in front of me, has been there since day one. He's been through all their ups and downs, wins and losses as a creative director, an absolutely pivotal position for the company's success. He's made a huge mark on the world of creatives and built an absolute legacy between himself and the other partners within the business as well. If you haven't heard of Luke or by his alias Dims and you have any idea about the space, I promise you that you've been living under a rock. Luke has literally just wrapped up with Ironlak as of last week, and I'm excited to have him sitting in front of me. Luke, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Chris. I don't know about that intro. It's a bit too full on. I really like it, though.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it specifically when I was actually writing that too. I thought if I write it correctly, it'll actually blow you away a little bit too, because I don't think that you understand the amount of benefit that you've given to so many other people around at the same time too. Like, I don't think if you specifically it's sunk in. And that's why I wanted to actually bring you on at the same time too. One, like you're a friend firstly, but
yeah.
I know you have so much value to provide to other people without you even knowing that you do it at the same time too. So that's why the questions that I've put together will actually sort of give a bit of an insight to the creative genius that you are as well, and not just the person that sometimes people think they are. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Hopefully, I like to say hindsight's a motherfucker. So maybe in 6 months I'll look back and go, oh yeah, you know what, I did some shit.
Exactly, but it's like we mentioned the last times we caught up. It's just about being grateful for what you have and what you've done at the same time too, right? And
absolutely.
I think over like a 15-year span there, you've done some crazy shit. You know what I mean? And you've built some crazy products. You provided value to people. You've made stupid money for a company and all sorts of stuff as well. But you've had distribution in pretty much every country, right?
I think it's like 50.
So distribution of a product in 50 countries worldwide, and being managed by such a small office here in Australia almost, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's
Headquarters
pretty
in
crazy.
Brisbane. It's, I think at last count we had 10 staff worldwide, not including the factory.
Exactly, and I think that's just absolutely crazy when it comes down to it too, you know what I mean? So for something that big around the world to just be such a powerhouse for such a small investment of people here is crazy in itself too, you know what I mean? And as mentioned, you were such a big person in the forefront of that too, so that's why I wanted to bring you in today. And dude, once again, thank you for coming on. But let's start off with this. Almost 2 decades building a monster of a company. What's it been like? What's been your favourite moment? And give me a bit of the background story of yourself at the same time too. Where'd you come from, and how'd you get to here today?
Yeah, okay. Well, it's been a massive journey, you know, and it's a corny marketing word, but it's true. It really has been crazy. I basically met, by way of background, I met Levi in an internet chat room, believe it or not, years and years ago.
And so Levi's the actual person who founded Ironlak.
Yeah, so Levi and Heath, the two brothers that started, but Levi was the sort of the brain, like it was his, you know, his brain fart, his brainchild, that kind of made the thing happen. So we met on, I think it was Wild Style, and it was like an early sort of graffiti chat room. It was like back when things, you know, forget all this messenger stuff we got now. It was like the screen would refresh.
Yeah.
So you'd be waiting 30 seconds for the next refresh, and we kind of, you know.
You're talking like 2002, like 2000 even sort of
maybe
right?
like 2000, I think.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, if I was to guess.
Dude, that's 17 years ago.
So we kind of met. I lived in Townsville. He lived in Sydney. He was running around painting. I was running around painting, and you know, we just hit it off. We had similar tastes in music, and so we found ourselves just chatting a lot, you know, on the phone and online. And I ended up going to Sydney and painting with him, and you know, running around and doing what you do when you're young and dumb and full of cum. So yeah. Anyway, fast forward. We moved to Brisbane, and we'd been kicking around a few. He'd been kicking around a few business ideas. I wanted to do a magazine. You know, I was starting my design career. I ended up moving to Brisbane, getting a job at Billabong on the Gold Coast. He was working at a big shipping line. Ended up moving up through the ranks and being responsible for like 50 people. Meanwhile, starting this thing that became Ironlak.
Yeah.
And so yeah, basically just he moved up through the ranks there, started this thing. It kind of started to get a bit of success and, you know, a bit of traction early on. And I was just there, you know. We ended up living together. I designed the can, designed the logo, all that sort of stuff.
The first can, I remember that too. And it was a long
Small
time ago.
logo.
I think I have one around still somewhere from it too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've definitely got a few. Yeah. So he, like, I guess to try and tell the story super quickly, if I can. So that kind of kicked off. I was never an employee back then. It was literally just like, hey man, what do you think about this? Hey, I need this. Can you do this? And then I started. I basically, my personal journey as a creative kind of evolved with Ironlak. Like all of a sudden, we needed photographs. And, I was working at Billabong at the time, so I had a few mentors there. But I picked up a camera, started shooting photos. Oh shit, now we need video. Start doing that. Fast forward to today, it's like, oh shit, we need SEO. I better learn how to do that. I need to come up with a marketing strategy. I guess I better
learn some marketing.
Yeah, better learn how to do that. So that's kind of how it's been. I feel like there was something else in that question that I wanted to loop back around. Oh, highs and lows.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm upgrading the mantra, right? Just with the idea of like positive language, I'm upgrading the mantra. I've always kind of said, anyone who's worked with me has heard me say, nothing worth having comes easy, which I thought I invented, but apparently if you Google it, I didn't invent it. I got it from somewhere. So obviously I picked that up and just embedded that in my psyche as something, but I'm upgrading it. It's everything worth having requires effort, and there's nothing truer than that, than the journey that we've been on, because we've really, it's a struggle, man. Like, you call this thing the school of struggle. Yeah. Like, I take issue with, like, the fact that we have to call it a struggle, because, like, in recent times I've been trying to keep, like, PMA, positive mental attitude.
Of course.
And, and I've been having, like, conversations about struggle and all these things, and I'm kind of going, fuck, maybe I've got some limiting beliefs that I feel like struggle is the purpose,
Right.
But we always joke that we're cockroaches, you can't kill us. We've been through all sorts of crazy shit. It's like been such a dream job and an absolute fucking nightmare in one breath.
I think that's with any dream though, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which ties it back to everything worth having requires effort.
Exactly.
If this was easy, if it was easy to make it, like, on one hand we're not successful. And on the other hand, we are. We've taken this thing around the world. We've got to travel. We've met amazing people. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's like I know I joked at the beginning that, in hindsight, maybe I'll look back and go, oh, we did some shit. But I can sit here now and go, we definitely had a crazy ride. And, I got to go around the world. I got to meet some amazing people. And we got to fulfill the vision of, enhancing the world through creativity and allowing artists to do that. And that's why we exist. And
that's why you guys started.
That's why the whole thing boiled down. I mean, if you, so we say that that we exist to help artists enhance the world through their creativity. That's why we're here. Mm-hmm. If you go back, I believe our why was the same back then, but it was probably just, I want to make affordable quality paint so people can paint more graffiti.
It was that, and I think you. It's not that you had any form of limiting belief. It was just your vision hadn't gone that far yet. You know what I mean? You guys just wanted to provide value to a couple of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, it was probably Levi and his friends. Yeah. Right? It was like, he was paying through the nose for European imports. And then we have this thing called Australian Export in Australia, which is back then $3 a can. Yeah. And it's got fanjet nozzles, so it's just, a piece of shit. And he was like, well, maybe I can sell them valves so so riders can put New York fat caps on the export and have, like, still shit paid, but, like, at least,
But to come out better at this or that.
Exactly. And that was kind of the idea, and that didn't work, so he just went, fuck it, I'll start this thing myself. So... in my ADD brain, I probably gave you a real scattered answer, but that's the long and short of it. That's the 15-year.
But in like a 6-minute summary there, I think you told everyone how much fun it's been at the same time too. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I've had a great time.
With that, what's your favourite moment been? I know that's probably hard to think about. It's 15 years worth, but I'm sure there's been a couple standouts, and just maybe run through one or two.
I think. There's one moment, and it's kind of ridiculous. We're in Byron Bay. It was 5 years after the team had started. So the business paperwork was founded in it was signed in 2002. Mm-hmm. First cans were 2004. Mm-hmm. The original 5 members of the team, Soffels, Lins, Serum, Choose, and Reels, mm-hmm. They were the original 5 guys, and that started in 06.
Yep.
No, was it? Sorry, 05. the team started. So 5 years later, we were in Byron Bay. Guys were painting a wall, and then Levi and Heath had planned a little bit of a surprise for everyone, and it was kind of ridiculous because Byron Bay is, it's not the place where you do what they ended up doing, but basically they hired. So as a surprise, we all went up to the lighthouse in Byron Bay, which I'm sure you know.
Yeah. I went up there last weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So we went out for dinner, had a few drinks, and we went for like a walk. Oh yeah, we're going to go up the hill. And while we were up the top, and this was a surprise, a limo rocks up.
Right.
Which is ridiculous.
You wouldn't expect that firstly up there, right?
Well, this is the thing. Like, and I just as a little by way of a disclaimer, there's no Ferraris in this business. Like, for whatever you think on the outside looking in, it's a grind, and no one's rich yet. So please don't think the fact I'm talking about a limo means that we've been rolling around in limos this whole time. It's not true. So these just as a surprise, 5 years to celebrate. They got the limo. And so everyone came down the hill, and there's just this stretch limo sitting there, and it's like, what the fuck's going on, And then Levi kind of did a little speech. He's like, guys, team founded 5 years ago. Thanks so much for your support, and we're going to take you to New York as a thank you. And so a few months later, we all went to New York. So the five of us, I got to go, because at the time I was obviously floating around as a photographer and whatnot, and whatever else. And yeah, so we went to New York and had a crazy time. By that time, we had a USA team as well. So we had 5 guys in there. So we went to New York, hung out with NU and a bunch of other crew. Like Augie came out from LA. Cool. Casey Ortiz, the videographer.
Yeah.
Videographer came out. Pose all these people. So we just got to really. It was like this real unison of like Australian team meeting the USA team. And just painting some walls and having a crazy time.
Worldwide, within that sort of space, these are all very influential people.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very, very influential people too. You know what I mean? So even for you guys, because you probably haven't met them yet and all that stuff, like it'd be cool to actually put face and see who's providing this amazing artwork to the world too. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. So that that was really cool. Because
these are all names that I've looked up to since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah, man, absolutely. There's there was some amazingly talented people. So I was super stoked to get over there and kind of hang out. And of course, I like to drink. So anyone who was on that trip will tell you the Four Loko story. It's it's kind of infamous. I won't get into it, but if you see me in person, you can ask me. It involved face painting and vomiting off NU's balcony.
I love it.
And Google Four Loko and you'll know what I'm talking about.
I'll make sure that everyone does then. Now, here's the next question. Now, what I liked about what you said in the first part is you didn't actually have much creative skill when it started. You just sort of picked things up and moved on as it went on too. You know what I mean? Like you learned how to do photography, you learned how to be a videographer, you learned how to be a marketer, you learned how to do all this stuff because jobs just came up and you needed to fill them all.
Necessity.
Yeah, necessity, you know what I mean? I think that's one of the best things. I think that's something that you can take away for yourself, and that's fucking amazing. You can adapt to any situation, and I feel like that's something that so many different people are scared of sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even sure why. I think it's just a lot of the change or whatever it might be, but for myself, I'm the same. I'll just adapt to whatever the fuck it is that I have to do, you know what I mean? And it's good to hear that other people do that, and that's what's built such a big brand.
And that's, internally, we've got a bit of a mantra, which is do more with less. Because we don't have, believe it or not, we don't have big resources. We've got a very, very limited resource pool, both in terms of people and cash. So you just have to make things do with how you've got to make it work with what you've got, and that's it. It's like if you need to shoot product photos, go buy a piece of cardboard from Officeworks and get a light that you stole off a friend and then work out how to make the original.
Make sure the lighting's
photos.
right, and then just get everything intact together.
That's it. And you're shooting a spray can, so it's like you can't. I've never done product photography. Metal is a pain in the ass to shoot.
Yeah,
it's reflective,
correct.
It's black metal, so it's even more of a pain in the ass. But you just figure it out. Little Google, suss it out.
Even some editing to help out at the same time too, which I'm sure you would have had to learn.
Had to do all that stuff. And the thing is, you didn't have any option because you couldn't just go out and hire an editor. You see, we didn't have the budget. You couldn't just go out and hire a bunch of people to help. You just had to make it happen, and that is one of the real valuable things about this journey that I've been on. Is it's literally like you have to figure shit out yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're just going to suffocate, and that's
massively.
And that's just been the journey. Oh, we need to do this now? Okay. And I'd say that's true to everyone inside, Like Laurie, who does our operations and quality control and like a bunch of other different tasks, he wouldn't have known. Like, I think he was driving a forklift before he came across to Ironlak. You know, like, and you just like, okay, now I have to deal with international shipping. Now I have to deal with this problem, and you just every day, and it builds like. I think I just said this, but we joke that we're cockroaches because you can't kill us.
I love that too.
It's the same thing, because it's like every time adversity comes up, what are you going to do? You're going to go home? No, because you've put too much time and effort into this fucking thing.
Pick up and move on.
And these days, too many people's livelihoods is depending on whatever, so you've just got to like sort it out. Yeah. You know?
And I love that. That's so amazing, you know what I mean? That's
and I think it's a big problem with, I was going to say this generation, but that's very old man of me, and I'm bald, so I'm allowed to say that, but I'm allowed to be an old man now. But I do feel like, you know, if you don't have that adversity, you don't learn and grow, because you're not forced to. So it's like, Correct. If you're rolling around kind of like with not a care in the world, then you're not going to, this is my opinion, you're not going to do anything special, because why would you?
You have no need to mentally.
Why leave the couch if Netflix is on?
Correct.
You don't have to earn any money. You don't have to, like, oh, we're just going to pay them to do that, we're going to pay them to do that. You don't learn anything.
No, you don't. You learn by doing or whatever it is that for that specific job, right? Of course.
Exactly. And, you know, and early on, you know, it would have been very easy to, like, let's say business started in 02, got the production sorted, went out and, like, Levi raised a bunch of capital, had a few $1 million because someone believed that this thing could become some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And then, okay, let's hire a marketing agency, let's hire a photographer, let's hire, you know, this. Probably wouldn't exist anymore. Probably would have bankrupt.
Probably would have bankrupt, and you probably would have folded in really quickly, because the management of so many new people so quickly as well.
Yeah,
would have become more of a headache without knowing them, their style, their this, their that. There would have been a lot more headaches at the same time as well.
Exactly.
I see it happen a lot. And one of the biggest issues I see is when if people have a bit of capital, you still need to learn how to do something with no fucking money.
Yeah, no, exactly right, and that's what we had to do.
Yeah,
because like, I remember like. Relatively early on, we got into a situation where we needed to come up with, at the time, with what was a lot of money, and we had until like Friday next week to come up with this money, or basically it was fucking game over.
Right.
And we didn't have that kind of money outstanding.
Yeah.
You know, and Levi just rallied the troops and pulled together $500 here, $1,000 there, you know, whatever.
He hustled.
He hustled it, and he got that shit, and he fucking paid the debt.
Yeah.
Or paid the expense, whatever it was, and the business rolled on. And there's so many stories like that throughout the years where it's just like,
there'd be a million.
It's like, well, is this game over?
Yeah.
You know, is this one going to be game over?
Yeah.
And it's just like, and that's where the cockroach thing came from.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times that it was nearly game over, and you just go, all right, what have I got to do? I've got to do this? Okay, fuck. And then, of course, as you go on, those problems get bigger.
Correct.
They get more expensive.
Correct.
And you've just got to keep on rolling.
The thing is that I found with stuff like that too, though, right? Even though the problem is bigger or the expense is bigger and all this stuff, it's the exact same process on how to fix it.
Yeah.
You just have to go through it at the same time. It might be a little bit more stressful, but it's the exact same process. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
No matter what scale you're on, and if you're running a small business or a big business or whatever it is, it's the same process to the exact same shit. Sometimes it's just a mindset thing. I went a little bit off there, but I think it'd be interesting for people to hear that too. Because no matter what the situation, it's the exact same process you have to do to get out of it.
Exactly. And the smaller challenges that you face earlier on equip you to deal with
the bigger ones.
The bigger ones, and you know, which is a mindset thing, really. Because
massively.
It's, you know, and that's throwing back to the School of Struggle that I just listened to, the 3rd episode or whatever it was. But no, seriously, it's like if some of the problems we've had to face, let's say a year ago, had been thrown at the team or Levi, you know, 10 years ago, maybe the business would have went away.
Yeah.
Because even though, like, he is a fucking thick-skinned motherfucker, at the same time, would the mentality, or the mental stress of that situation have, you know, he maybe wouldn't have believed he could have risen to that occasion and got through it.
Correct.
You know, because over time, he's learned to deal with more and more shit.
Yeah.
So then when the big challenge comes up, you're like, okay, cool, that's kind of a little bit bigger than the last one, so let's do this and let's do that, and we get through it.
Level up again. Yeah,
exactly. It's just, like level up.
Yeah.
It's like Popeye eating spinach, and more spinach, more spinach. It's like, I can take it on. But yeah, anyway.
That's I love it. And speaking of all that sort of stuff too, right? What was the biggest struggle you guys had to actually come through?
The whole damn thing. Look, man, it's I don't.
And the question was a little bit different. So you can talk about Ironlak, but this is a question more so for Luke Shirlaw.
Ooh.
So, like, what's the biggest struggle that you've either had to deal with building a juggernaut of a company, or personal, and how did you overcome it?
I think for me, like personally, over the last few years, it's just been there's been so much work to do, right? That it's just trying to stay focused can be hard. Like if you're trying to do 200 things and you only got the capacity to do 10, and you just trying to push every day and get through those 200 things, but in reality you can only do 10, it can be a little demoralizing. So you're sitting here going, fuck, like I kind of said at the start, like maybe I'll look back and go, fuck, we did a lot of shit. Whereas, it's easy to sit there and go, I'm not moving, I'm not doing anything. And you're doing stuff, but you're looking at what you haven't done because you're trying to do 200, you got the capacity to do 10. So there's 190 things that aren't done. And you're sitting
that's
there going,
almost the biggest problem with the creative. I've identified that. But you always wanted to create, you always wanted to do something new, and a lot of the time people forget to look back on what they've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So go on.
So no, I think for me, like it's just trying to overcome that. Like it's like feeling like you're not getting anything done, and trying to work out how to get it all done.
Or even overcome it mentally almost.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to say that I overcame that because it's so hard to try and do everything you want to do. And I think that's my ADD brain as well, where it's just, I've realised in recent times that I've got a bit of an ADD issue, but it's just like, you just want to, like you said, you want to do everything. Yeah. And then the new ideas come on and you're trying to like get those done as well.
Because I'm very similar. The amount of people that ask me like, how do you fit everything you do into a day? And I said, I don't sleep. Yeah. And two, I just enjoy everything I do. You know what I mean? Like it might be a lot, but it's just working out how to fucking do it all. You know what I mean? Like it's scary some days because like I have way too much on my plate, but you do it, right? Like
no, exactly. And I think that's the thing. It's just like when things are when you're having a bad day or a bad night. Whatever it is, and you're sitting there and you just like, fuck this shit. Yeah. It's like, but it's just the overall vision that just keeps you going, you know? Like, you find that when shit gets tough, you're sitting there fucking angry. It's like, dream job. This is my fucking dream job. I want to kill myself. No, not really. That's a bit harsh. But you know what I mean? It's just like, when shit gets real tough and you just like, got to push through it. That's the big. I think it's. I know that's not one in particular challenge, but sometimes you're just sitting there going, "Holy shit! Like, how do I keep doing this?" Yeah. So I think that's kind of it. And you just, like I said, it's that greater vision and the greater purpose where it gets you through the bad days when you don't want to play ball anymore. Yeah. But you know that you kind of like you've made a commitment and you have to keep playing ball. So
100%.
Yeah. 100%. And I know that's not a specific kind of, but that's just like the Luke Shirlaw answer.
Right. Well, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Luke Shirlaw answer because you're a fucking smart dude, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you give yourself enough credit sometimes yourself too, you know what I mean? So,
well, it's funny, I was just putting together, this is a little random ADD segue, sideways step, as I like to do, as you know. As you know from having coffee with me, but it's just like, I was sitting there last week, right, and I had a month to kind of get all my ducks in a row so I could walk out the door.
Head held high.
Yeah, exactly. And I decided I wanted to do a photo exhibition of my photographs for the last 15 years. Well, for my favourite photos over the journey. So I've got, 20 hard drives or 25 hard drives that I'm sitting there going through. And because I've been trying to get all my stuff done, I haven't selected the photos yet. Right. And it's the week of the exhibition. I'm trying to select the photos. So go to bed late, get up early, that whole thing of doing what you need to do. And I remember I was just going through folder after folder and archives. I was like, fuck, I'm such a shit photographer. Fuck, why don't I have better photos? This show's going to suck. And you're just like, because you've been up since 3 and, you went to bed at 2 and you got up at, I can't remember, I think that morning I got up at 4 and I went to bed super late. And I was trying to and that was the day I had to get all the photos sent to print, right? Right. And I'm sitting there going, fuck, I don't think I've got anything. And then you kind of get through that mental hurdle, and next thing you realise, shit, I've got to pick from 2,000 photographs. Yeah. Now the challenge is actually you're throwing good photos in to make sure that you've got. But earlier in the day, you're just sitting there going, fuck, why did I do this? I
Yeah.
shouldn't have done this exhibition. I should have just like slowly like crept away. But I've had to go out of the bag.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sitting there going,
It's funny you say that specific thing too, right? Because you emailed me recently about an interview that you did with me.
Yeah.
With someone going, you asked me to go out and pick a whole bunch of photos from different things as well. I'm sitting there going, fuck, I've not done anything good.
That's what I'm sitting there going.
Yeah.
Like what? These photos are. You know, why don't I have better photos? I've been doing this a long time. I've had amazing opportunities. I've been in great places with amazing people. And why don't I have better photographs? You know, and then like the end result is I'm super proud of the exhibition.
Yeah.
Like there were heaps of amazing photos that I love that I didn't get to put in.
Yeah.
And then of course you're thinking of like archival purposes where maybe it's not the greatest photograph, but it's a significant moment in time.
Yeah.
You know, all this sort of stuff. But anyway, that's just a little like derailing the subject. But it's, you know, the reality is like. You know, I like to think that I'm a pretty positive person for the most part, but you do have those, you know, you've had 2 hours, 3, 4 hours sleep, whatever, and you're sitting there like trying to do this thing that's like at the moment it seems kind of impossible. It's like, how do I get to the finish line? Am I going to have a show on Friday night and 200 people are going to rock up and there's going to be nothing on the walls? You know, because I was doing something else.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway.
But it all came together, and from what you said, it was amazing. I'm looking forward to going to the Sydney one tomorrow night just to see it at the same time too. You know what I mean? So
it was,
I'm really excited for it.
It was successful, man. There's no doubt. It was a good night. Had good fun.
Good.
Showed some good photos.
Nice.
So yeah. Anyway.
Man, next question. So the whole premise of the company essentially was based around graffiti, and my question to you is, what's graffiti to you, and what was it about graffiti that fascinated you so much?
Oh, good question. Look, this is... I feel like I'm a bit of a contradiction in my beliefs and viewpoints at times. So for the graffiti question, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, to me, graffiti is painting letters illegally. And the contradiction is when I see people sort of take that real hardline stance sometimes where it's like illegal wall's not valid or that's not graffiti. That's still graffiti to me too.
Yeah.
You know? Like if you paint letters on a legal wall, you still like I saw someone the other day on your thing actually said that Soffles isn't a graffiti writer.
Yeah, on one of the pages that I have too.
In what world is Soffles not a graffiti writer? He's not a fucking street artist.
No, he's definitely not.
You know, yes, he's an artist. He does illustration.
Yep.
He does legal work. He does commissions. He does paintings. You know, all this stuff. But I'd like to see anyone that's done more graffiti than that dude.
Yeah, 100%. He's dedicated his fucking life to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, yeah, of course.
And he does it. He's a fucking real. Like, just without sounding corny, he's a real writer.
Yeah, 100%.
But 100%.
I remember staying at his house like 10 years ago with Mac.
Yeah.
And the dude lives and breathes it, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, and you know, just because you might see a bunch of videos, or you might see a bunch of murals, or you might do light displays or whatever, like, come on, that dude's done real dirt.
Yeah, you know? he's done the grind for that too, you know what I mean? Of course.
But that said, like, like I said, graffiti really is that illegal letters aspect.
It's coming more to light now with the general population there, because obviously it's been used in marketing and this and that. So obviously the light's been shone on it more so for the street art side as well as the letterforms altered stuff, which is great. It's finally got to the point where people can start making money from it. It's amazing, you know what I mean?
Like I've kind of said before that street art's dragging graffiti, kicking and screaming into the mainstream. Because like if you're a dude that hides in the shadows and does your paintings, you don't want
you don't
recognition.
Correct.
You're actually against that.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
But this is the contradiction of it because I love that aspect.
Yeah.
And anyone who knows what I do graffiti wise will kind of be sitting there going, you're a hypocrite. Like, you don't even paint illegal graffiti.
Yeah.
You know, anymore or whatever. I have, just for the record. But you know, it's like, oh, this dude takes photos of people painting legally, you know, and he's saying that's what graffiti is. But that's what it is. But then the contradiction is, I love this new world that's been presented, and that there's opportunities for people. Because at the end of the day, what would you rather do? Work at Kmart, which is what I did for a while, or would you rather be at and I don't do this because I'm not an artist in that way, but or would you rather be out painting murals?
100%.
You know,
100%.
Like, you know, so many people are out painting murals and earning money from this thing which evolved from graffiti. And it's like, is that a bad thing? Really?
I remember sitting there tapping away, waiting for it to happen too. Like, just waiting for it to happen, man. Because I've capitalised. I've done a fair bit myself too, you know what I mean? But like, I'm sitting there going like, it's going to happen. It's like...
and why not? Like, I love this shit. Why not be able to derive an income? And the irony for me is that...
Like, the funny thing is, like, just outside there, we're sitting in a place called Spice Alley, and inside here, it's fully decked out with graffiti.
Yeah.
It's all by Mac, just outside there. You on the way out, it's all done, commission-based graffiti stuff. It's great.
Yeah, and why shouldn't that? Like, that dude's done heaps of real shit. Why shouldn't he be able to
Correct.
derive an income? And the irony for me personally is that, like, my whole life revolves around graffiti.
Yeah.
I work in a business that, up until now, I've worked in a business and published a magazine and done all this stuff where my whole life revolves around this thing, and I don't paint anymore.
Yeah.
So, you watch this space, maybe we'll get out. You know?
You're on the creative side more for helping other people showcase their work and actually building a business at the same time too, you know what I mean?
That's it. Maybe
which is just, if not more, people to roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, there would have been a point where I feel like I could have painted beside someone like... where I had painted beside someone like a Skew, or, you know, these people that are my friends that have just gone on to become like world famous, like top of their game sort of graffiti writers and artists and whatever. And there would have been a time where I would have painted beside those people and felt like I was holding my own, you know? Like, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe I thought I smoked them.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes I thought they smoked me, but at least I felt like I kind of could hold my own. Nowadays, it's gotten so crazy. It's like, you know, there's a painting of mine in this exhibition tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And it's beside Soffels in Germany. You'll see it. And it's just like, we had 20 minutes. It's like, how the fuck can you even hang with that dude? You know? Like, it's like... he's like one of the fastest painters that I've ever seen, and I'm standing there trying to paint something in the same time, and it's just like, and you're trying to hold your own.
It's a crazy feeling sometimes too, right? But it pushes you out of your boundaries as well. It's pretty fun.
Exactly. It's like, oh well, I better try and make this count. You know, I better try and make this count because I know he's taken it. He's going to smoke me, but I may as well not make myself look completely like a fucking loser.
Oh man!
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's if I fully answered the question, but to me that's what it is. And you know, I'm cool with the new world. But then this is a contradiction again. Like there's some aspects of the street art thing that I fucking hate. Yeah. You know, on one hand, and this is the contradiction, I see dudes, those dudes in Melbourne that were tagging over street art, doing throw-ups over street art murals. And on one hand, I'm like, that's fucking awesome. And then on the other hand, I'm like friends with those people. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of sad to see their mural destroyed.
Yeah, of course.
So that's my contradiction. On one hand, I'm like, fucking take back the streets. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I'd rather see it, like, even if I don't like the mural, I'd rather see the streets colourful.
Correct.
Than not. So if the street, if even, and now there's like this third breed of like people that work in the street as well, which are like muralists. They're not street artists. Correct. They're not graffiti writers. They have no background in painting illegally on the streets ever. They're visual artists of some description. And now there's that group of people too, and I'm friends with some of those people that are fucking amazing.
And they're just as cool. They're just as it.
I would much rather the streets have that shit.
Yeah,
like,
correct.
You know, and I'm a marketer, so like this is hypocritical too. But like, I'd rather see that shit than billboards.
Correct.
You know, but that said, you go into I haven't actually been since so changed it, but you go into King's Cross and there's a big Coca-Cola billboard. That's fucking cool too.
Yeah.
You know, so this is my contradiction. I'm like, on one hand, I'm like, fuck the system, and on the other hand, it's like, let's sell some shit.
Because that's just as important too. You know what I mean? So
Well,
that's
at the end
just
of the day,
as important.
I've got a kid now. You got to feed your family.
Of course. And dude, like, I've got a couple more questions. And this is
cool. Sorry, I like to derail.
That's all good. That's all good. This is more so for you personally. It could be in your artistic or business, whatever it is. Who and what's been your biggest inspiration?
Ooh.
This could be from a 2000 Luke Shirlaw or a 2017.
Biggest inspiration.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be artist, or it just could be anything.
Yeah.
What gets you up? Like, why?
Yeah. Look, I'll give a splintered response because that's just how I do. I feel like the answer I've got in my head right now to this question is that I take inspiration from many different places.
Yeah.
So, like, in recent times, I read a lot, you know? So
And listen to podcasts.
yeah, podcasts. So like podcasts like Tim Ferriss podcasts, like but I'm reading. I never thought I'd fuck with Tony Robbins, but I'm reading right now. I was reading it on the plane as well, and nearly towards the end of a fucking mammoth book by Tony Robbins called Money Master the Game.
It's a good book, hey?
Yeah. So I just got to the interview section, so you know how far through that is. Just things like that. Books, like I started off like I read a lot of fiction as a kid, and then I didn't read for like my entire adult life. Like from when I was maybe like early high school, didn't read anymore. So I've really discovered that again in the last few years and really been reading a lot, but it kind of came through like someone suggested that I read Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. And I read that, and I was kind of like got into the self-help book thing for a while, but now it's more like business sort of books. And I've been reading fiction again for the first time, thanks to Bobby Hundreds did a book club called Death Sentences.
Cool.
So I started following that, and I'm pretty much up until like I'm about 2 books behind now.
Okay.
But I've pretty much kept up with that for the last 2 years. Beyond that, Levi has been a massive influence on me, just in terms of like, just he's such a headstrong dude that just never fucking gives up. Like, we've all worked really hard, but without Levi, this business wouldn't exist. Yeah. Like, it would just, he's the one that's got us through all the bullshit. He's definitely not a perfect leader. No one is. Yeah. But without him, this shit would not exist. He's just got fucking balls. Yeah. And he's willing to do what it takes. He's not a get up and give a speech kind of guy. He's more of a one-on-one leader, but he managed to get all these people to buy into his vision, and so he's been a massive influence. And then I've just there's been a few other people. Ben Pobjoy he's from Canada, but he used to run a studio called Switzerland. We flew him out. I used to run a business called the Kingdom of Sad Machines with Joel Birch, who's the frontman of the Amity Affliction. Cool. So we did a magazine called Death Before Dishonor and whatever. So we flew out this Ben Pobjoy guy from Canada to help us with our business, to help mentor us. So he was kind of a bit of a mentor. Ed Woodley from China Heights is a massive mentor. So just dudes like that have really shaped me. And I mean, the artists, like, fuck, I don't even know top 5 anymore. Like,
they'd be a million, yeah.
Yeah, like, top 5 at one point was Mike Giant, Cabe from Sydney, OPAC, Dammit, and Pubes. Cool. Top 5.
Cool. That's a pretty healthy mix of different writers, sort of thing.
Yeah,
too.
and
cool.
so I've probably taken a lot. And if you look at my stuff, you'll see.
Yeah, you can see his influence in the
like
same
you can
time
see
too.
Pubes' influence. You can see Dammit, especially earlier days, and then like music, man.
Yeah.
Like hip hop, punk rock, heavy metal.
Music for me is a big thing. Massive thing.
I listen to a lot of different styles of music, and to the point where like I was listening to something. I was just in Sacramento. I was driving around with Trav MSK and his girlfriend. I'm fucking name dropping along. What a fucking place dropping is worse than name dropping, and name dropping is fucking horrible. I was driving around with a friend in Sacramento, and I was listening to Mura, I think it's called.
Miramasa?
Miramasa, that's it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, can we put some good music on? And I was like, I fucking really like this.
They did a song with A$AP Rocky, and it was sick.
That's what caught me. But the rest of the album is really good. But like, I'll listen to like Max Richter.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Neoclassical or whatever you call that. And I'll just like, I'll be in my office like burning incense, listening to classical music super loud. And people are just
if that helps you get into the zone or the stuff, then that's what helps you. You know what I mean?
I can't listen to hip hop when I work.
I'm sure there's more people out there that are the same. For me, like if I'm in a creative space, hip hop's my thing. Yeah. If it's creative, like I'm actually doing something, if it's design or if it's actual graffiti, whatever it is, like that sort of stuff, it's all hip hop. If it's something that's like ad copy or something marketing or stuff, I can't listen to it because it takes my head away from it.
Man, I'll just be thinking about what Jay-Z's saying. I'm just like, man, I can't even, like, I literally cannot write emails. If I'm listening to rap music, I cannot write fucking emails. I can't do anything. But if I'm editing photos or doing stuff like that, it's perfect. And if I really need to get something done, I'll either switch to like some upbeat, like some sort of electronic, like hectic fucking music.
Yeah, like, EDM sort of stuff.
Yeah, some trap shit or something, I don't know, whatever. And then or some drum and bass or whatever. or the opposite. I'll
Yeah.
get some angry pants on. You know, I'll start listening to fucking Sepultura or something.
Yeah, right.
Totally.
Cool.
So it's quite a wide spectrum.
Diverse sort of thing. That's
So
cool.
I know that's a really splintered answer. And
But it's exactly what I want to look for because it covers so many different facets at the same time too. So it sort of gives an insight to what actually makes you tick as well. It's awesome. I love it too.
yeah, but that's what it is for me. Is all that stuff just, you know. I guess I like to switch it up and just keep things interesting. I can't listen to the same. But that said, this is the contradiction again. I must have listened to Jay's lately, the same Sepultura album, the same Jay-Z album, and there's a few other different albums like the Muramasa one.
Yeah. Which is great, by the way.
Because I've got iTunes now. I deleted all the music off my computer. I just have the paid iTunes subscription. But I haven't had time to dig. So I've got 5 albums that are on heavy rotation.
Yeah.
And so when I'll get into the work zone, or I'm about to, and I'll just click it, and I'll just play. I'll be like, all right, and I'll just click on what I've listened to. I'll listen to the same fucking Sepultura album 5 times on repeat.
Man, I've been listening to one song for the past week. One song for the past week.
Wow, it's because I don't want to think about it. It's
same.
Want to listen to music? Okay.
There it is. I clicked that one. I listened to that.
I'm doing emails. Sepultura. I'm
Whatever
editing
it is.
photos. That Jay-Z album goes
yeah.
on, and it's just and it actually gets ridiculous to the point where and then it stops, and I'll be like, I'll just click go again, just because I don't want to think about it. I don't want to. It's like what a decision fatigue.
Correct.
You know, it's like I've got shit to do. I'm not dealing with that.
Dude, I've got one last question for you, but we've got about 5 minutes left on this one.
Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for?
That's this idea of legacy definitely has been something that's been in my head for the last couple of years, and I don't know if I've got. Like everyone wants to be remembered, so there's no doubt I definitely want to be remembered. I definitely want to be remembered for being part of this Ironlak thing, and you know, I hope that it's going to get to where it's going, because I really believe that it's done a lot of good things for a lot of people, and I think there's a lot more to be done there. So I'm really I've got a lot of faith in the team to take it to where it needs to go. But I definitely would like to have my name in history beside that beast of a thing when it becomes a $1 billion company. Which, you know, it's a long way away. But if they work really hard, maybe it'll happen. You know, who knows where they can take it. So definitely that. I don't know. It's hard, man. I'm people are asking me what I'm going to do now, right?
Yeah.
And I still don't have, because it's. I kind of wanted to get to this point where I'm out the door. I'm finished. So I could start to really sit down and develop. I know we had this conversation last time. Start to sit down and really develop what it is, and people are going like, "Oh, so what are you going to do?" I'm like, "Oh, marketing."
Yeah.
And people that don't know what marketing is are like, look at me like I'm a fucking weirdo. They're like, "What do you mean?" And, you know, I'm like digital strategy, social content creation, you know, all this stuff. So I kind of, but beyond that, some of that's going to be money shit, you know, like working for a client to get something done, and that's not really legacy work, you know. So, but I hope that'll provide the opportunity for me to create some real meaningful work that I can be remembered for. I guess, to say it that way.
That's all.
And I don't know what that is yet.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not like a direct answer. Really. But I hope that I can go and create something, because I've shot a lot of videos, I've shot a lot of photographs, and I hope people enjoy that stuff, and I want to continue to do that. But for the last few years, it's really become like, okay, how do we get this business to where it needs to be? And you kind of, you stop doing, you're building a legacy through the brand and the business, but you stop doing that creative stuff that allows you to build a legacy, like being known for being the best graffiti writer or the best photographer or whatever it is. You don't get the opportunity to do that stuff as much.
Correct.
So I hope that what I'm remembered for is what's coming. I hope that in this new era of my life, where I'm going to be chasing work, I'm going to be chasing, you know, still creative work, still, you know, stuff that I want to do, but chasing work that, you know, can provide for my family. But I hope that I have, that will allow me to create some other work that people will
remember
really
at the same time
for.
too.
Because I've shot a lot of Ironlak videos, but I'm not the dude that people think about when they see that shit. You know, and that doesn't really bum me out or anything, but it's like, what impact can I have with that shit? I want to shoot some video stuff that people that puts me on the map, you know?
Yeah.
That people are like, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Man,
I don't feel like I've done that yet.
I love that answer, and it's one that I'm going to take away from that and just say I'm going to get you back on here in 12 months' time and tell the story of what's happened over the past 12 months, because there's a lot more ahead at the same time too.
Yeah, I've got a lot to figure out. So.
These only have 45 minutes in these podcasts, so I'm going to have to close it out now. Thank you so much for being on here at this time too. Really appreciate it.
Hey, it's been fun.
Yeah, and as mentioned, guys, thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'll speak to you guys next time. Peace.